Welcome to Sinister Heroes. I'm your host, Danny Iniquitous. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, this is a channel about Dungeons and Dragons where we try and take a darker tone with everything we do here. So if you like edgier kind of content, hit the like and subscribe button. Check us out on Patreon. A big thank you to all our Patreon supporters. We love you guys for what you do for the channel. It is a blessing to have you guys in our lives, and a big thank you to our good friends at Dice Legion for helping us all out by giving us the ability to give everybody 10% off with the promo code Sinister. So check them out. The website is in the description, and we're gonna jump right into this video with the Satyr. Satyrs come to us from Mythic Odyssey of Theros, and also were reprinted in Monsters of the Multiverse. They have a long history and lore behind them. They are fantastical creatures of mythology. They've been around and they've been in a bunch of different religions and pagan beliefs and mythologies all around the world. They are a lot of fun, and there's so much great things to pull from. They're very fey, very mischievous kind of people a lot of the time. There's a lot of great things about the Fae and forests in general that are really dark in a lot of lore and mythologies and pagan rituals and histories. So you do have this wonderful opportunity to be significantly darker than just someone who's happy-go-lucky. If you have seen Pan's Labyrinth, the faun is in a lot of ways just like a satyr. If you just make that a little bit more humanistic, right there you have a perfect satyr. They are awesome. Definitely check out their lore. If you watch Critical Role Campaign 3, you'll note that Fern is a satyr. So definitely see a lot of the great things that she brings, because she's massively tall. She's very whimsical in everything she does. She really embodies a lighthearted fae creature pretty well. The satyrs have a lot of great things for them. They end up having a larger than normal move speed. They move at 35 feet as opposed to 30. They count as fae rather than humanoid, meaning that a lot of spells that target humanoids cannot target them because they are fae, which is a great thing to consider because it eliminates a few tangible issues that might come up in the future. They do have no dark vision, so that is something that's very important to realize. That tends to sway people a lot, but they do end up getting a couple of really great features. One of the first features they get is called Ram. You can use your head and horns to make unarmed strikes. If you hit with them, you deal bludgeoning damage equal to 1d4 plus your strength modifier. This, again, is not going to be something that you use as your major attack. It's just clearly not going to be your best imprint. But in those rare scenarios where you do have to hit something and do not have any other weapons, you do always have something to do. The important thing to note is it deals bludgeoning damage, and you can use it and not hurt yourself because you're using your horns to do so. So if you find yourself locked behind a door and don't have any weapons, you can just bash that door in with your ramming ability. And that eventually will break down the door. It's not really something that's going to be thematically useful. If you do go monk, you can use this as part of your attacks, which is pretty interesting. And it can be creative and fun to do. But ultimately, this is more so just kind of a nod to what you look like and your appearance, so we don't ever forget that you do have this option. Mirthful leaps. Whenever you make a long or high jump, you can roll a d8 and add the number to the number of feet you can cover, even when making a standing jump. The extra distance costs movement as normal. I find, oddly enough, I jump a lot more than I normally think I would have to. Maybe it's just me, but it does come up quite often. Again, you do have goat legs, and hooves, so you do have a certain predisposition to being able to jump. In situations where you're in cities more often or you're trying to be sneaky, this might be more beneficial than anything else. One of the important things to note is to be able to use this in opportunities where you can substitute certain climbing distances. If something happens to be just maybe 8 feet away or something, maybe you can try and make that, and probably be pretty successful at it and minimize your necessity to climb and do things like that. Depending on what you're doing, where you are, would depict on how this is. It's really one of those things where if you never use it, you don't realize how useful it can be. And if you're in circumstances where you're in rooms that have levels or anything you can climb onto, which is pretty standard, I think, in a lot of situations, this becomes significantly better, especially if you have ranged components. If you're a caster of some sort, jumping up on a higher ledge makes things significantly better for you. And the best way to do that? Mirthful Leaves. Reveler. You have proficiency in the performance and persuasion skills, and you have proficiency with one musical instrument of your choice. Again, satyrs are known to be able to draw people in with music and joy and merriment, and then do horrible things to them afterwards. It's a great symbol of kind of what they do. They're very mischievous, they're very chaotic, but, depending on good or evil, would really depict on what they're feeling like that day. Like all Fae, they're kind of just like that. It really kind of pushes you towards being bards, or charisma casters, or even warlocks. Archfey, satyrs just go hand in hand. Even sorcerers, they really kind of get a lot from this. So depending on who you want to be with this is a great way to pick up a couple extra face skills, because persuasion is very important, but you can jump into some other stuff and cover intimidation and deception rather easily, and performance can be fun, depending on what you're trying to do. You're very enigmatic, so people are going to want to see you do things, so it really fits into what your character can be. It does dictate that you kind of follow a certain path, but you don't need to have this make that much of an impact to your character if you don't want to. I do believe if you're going to be a satyr, you should really go all into being a satyr and really embrace that kind of performance. Magical resistance. You have advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. This is a powerful ability. This is one of the strongest abilities any species or lineage can have, because it gives you such a big chance to avoid those save or suck spells, or to get entangled or restrained by any of those spells and abilities. A lot of DMs see this and immediately go, nope, this is banned. It does give you advantage, but that doesn't mean you're going to succeed on everything. I tend to play Yuan-Tis a lot more than most people ever get to do for whatever reason, and I'm always grateful whenever I get the opportunity to do so. But I've failed more saving throws than probably anybody. So it's not something that you need to worry too much about. It's just something you kind of need to have just a little bit of time actually dealing with before you can really say, all right, it's not that big of a deal. Plus, most of the more debilitating attacks like restraint and things like that are just regular grapples or results from physical attacks anyway. So you can kind of be dodgy about that and be perfectly okay and just send like something that has a tentacle attack that just restrains, and that's it. It makes you greatly dangerous to most anything anyway. It's a fun ability. It's nice to have, and when it saves you, it feels great. Satyrs are magical creatures. Fae are magical creatures. It makes sense that they should have a certain level of ability to dampen harmful magic target towards them. It fits in who they are. They should be so familiar with it from living in the Feywild. The satyr can be an incredible lineage or species. It's a very unique entity in the world. Lore-wise, Fey-wise, it's a great way to put a lot of otherworldly things into a campaign. There's a lot of things that tie really well to the satyr, being an arch-Fey warlock, which, I mean, I'd gravitate to warlock anyway. Being even a swords bard or any kind of bard, really a bard of glamour, really fits up with what the satyr does. Sorcerers work really well. I think wild magic is a very Fey-like thing, and it does play a lot with luck, so I think that works in your benefit. And I think that makes a lot of sense with being a satyr, not because you can control your magic, but because why would you when it's so much more fun to have it this way? I think that's a great way to concept conceptualize things and pull it to the forefront. The Fey Wanderer Hunter Ranger is a fantastic setup if you want to be more martial in what you're doing. It's cool. It's exciting. You can do a lot of great things with it because you do have that wonderful balance of just being enchanting and wise and able to see inside people to better manipulate them. It's such a Fey thing, having that kind of insight. And plus, you're good at performing. So a lot of things kind of really go hand in hand with being, altruistic. I don't really see you as a rogue satyr. It just doesn't seem to be cohesive. There's certain necessity of wanting people to see you as a satyr. And I think it's a really great concept when you do so, because you want to be that center of attention. You want people to notice you. You are grand. You want people to care and to find joy or dismay in whatever it is you do. And playing with those themes is a lot of fun. That being said, we're going to bring this video to a close. If you've made it to this far, thank you so much. It really does a lot for the videos when you sit and watch the entire thing. Thank you so much to all of our Patreon supporters. We love you so much. What you do for the channel is absolutely amazing. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon supporter, the link is in the description. Thank you so much to our good friends at Dice Legion for helping us out, and all of our friends with the promo code Sinister. You get 10% off all of your purchases, so you can keep doing it. Definitely check them out. Their link is also in the description. And most importantly, thank you for giving a spooky kid a chance.